Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Black Adam, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Sarah Shahi, forgive me if I said that wrong, Noah Centineo, Aldous Hodge, Quintessa Swindell, with Viola Davis and Pierce Brosnan, directed by Jean Collet Serra. Now, before I get into this movie, I must say, Jungle Cruise was a big success from this director and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as he did that movie with him, and he's done other things I've seen, and I've reviewed him before in The Shallows, but we'll see how he does with the DC property. Let's get, or should I say, how they both do in the DC property together. Let's get into this movie. 5,000 years ago, the city of Kondak was under a tyrannical rule of King Ankhat, who intended to create the crown of Sabek, which is known to give the wearer great power, which is desperately wanting to be stupid as it succeeds. After enslaving his people and forcing them to dig for, let me see if I'm saying this correctly, Eternium, the magical crystal needed to create the crown, a young boy leads the slaves to revolt against him, which feels ancient Egyptian and not in a racist way, so please forgive me for that. And this feels familiar and dumb. When the boy is given the power of Shazam, transforming him into Kondak's heroic champion, Teth Adam, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he kills Ankhat and ends his reign. And I did not like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in this movie because he has no charisma, whereas in other movies he's been in, even in Jungle Cruise, for example, he had charisma. But he doesn't here, which is a real problem from the get-go. And the dialogue is the thing is in this thing is terrible, as is the acting and writing as this plot is very headache worthy. Like when I watched this in IMAX, I only saw it the one time, but when I saw this on IMAX, it really gave me the most painful headache I've ever had to go through in a movie. It hasn't been as bad as what happened with Justice League, but now it's doing it again. DC, you're succeeding at giving me a headache. Sorry to disappoint. In the present day, Conduct is oppressed by the Inner Gang, which feels terrible as a name, and there's times the movie makes them look like idiots, which was idiotic in Sony levels. Archaeologist Adriana Thomas, played by Sarah Shahi, tries to locate the crown of Sabek, and I'm already having a headache as this is a headache-worthy movie. With the help of her brother Kareem and colleagues Samir and Ishmael, and I don't really like these characters whatsoever, as Adriana obtains the crown, and they are ambushed by the Inner Gang, killing Samir in the process, which is pointless. Adriana accidentally reads an incantation, which awakens Adam from his slumber, who subsequently slaughters most of the Inner Gang troops, as this movie was loud enough as it was, and I feel it in my ears and head after an Inner Gang soldier shoots rock, an Internium rocket at Adam, which renders him comatose. It is revealed that Ishmael is a gang member, Inner Gang member, I meant to say, who intends to take the crown for himself, as his face is absolutely obviously telegraphed. It was not very funny, as there were times the movie got predictable based on the scenes in the trailers. Government officials Amanda Waller returned briefly by Viola Davis, who, ever since I watched the Peacemaker show, she's better in that, what she's briefly in, than here, learns of the incident and contacts Carter Hall, aka Hawkman, played by Aldous Hodge, to assist in taking Adam into custody, which won't happen. Hawkman is accompanied by his fellow members of the Justice Society of America, consisting of Kent Nelson, aka Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan, Maxine Hunkel, Cyclone, also known as, played by Quintessa Swindell, and Albert Al Rothstein, Atom Smasher, aka otherwise he was known as, played by Noah Centineo, with his Uncle Al, played briefly by Henry Winkler, to stop Adam, and it leads to a mess of a plot of a movie, and with such idiotic characters, as they are the biggest idiots in this whole movie. I mean, jeez Louise. Adriana sees an inscription on an inner part of the crown which states life is the only way to death, which is super tedious. Adriana's son Amon, I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me, sees Adam as Kondak's hero, but Adam denies it and departs, and the special effects of when he's flying looked pretty bad as far as CGI is concerned. Wanting to prove to Kondak that their champion has reawakened, Amon makes a ruckus with the inner gang, successfully leading Adam to intervene and overpower them, which was a terrible action scene, sure. Justice Society, or whatever the world they're called, arrive in time to stop Adam from doing further destruction, which makes them look like idiots as they fight. Fate senses that Adriana has the crown of Sabek, which was convenient. They manage to stop Adam for a while before he flees into the ruins of Ankat's palace. And I just didn't care, as I don't care for this plot and these characters. The Justice Society asks Adriana to give them the crown, but she declines until they tell her the truth about Adam was the one who lost control of his power 5,000 years ago and destroyed most of Kondak, which makes sense on why he's an anti-hero, but how that was explained was horrible. The crown is given to Amon, who takes it back home, which is a horrible idea. Ishmael is there with Karim, and not Karin, but Karim, and reveals his true colors, which was so obvious. Amon runs away from Ishmael, who shoots and wounds Karim, and chases Amon. And I'm thinking, why are you riding your skateboard while in a building, as it can make them hear you to begin with? Meanwhile, Adriana and the Justice Society meet Adam and attempt to convince him that he can be a hero to Kondak, before Amon calls Adriana, who pleads for Adam to save him, which was a bad choice for him to hide and escape with his damn skateboard, which bothered me from the get-go. Adam immediately comes to the rescue, but Ishmael manages to abduct Amon and flees on an Eternium bike, which looks fake in so many levels. Adam tries to rescue Amon by dealing with the inner gang on bikes to no avail, which obviously looked green screen, as Adam goes back to Adriana's home and Hawkman manages to capture two inner gang members and interrogate them about their hideout. It gets nothing, as this movie isn't giving me a good reason to like it. Adam uses brute force to interrogate both of them and learns where the inner gang's hideout is, but his way of interrogation enrages Hawkman, as he's an idiot. And Adam and Hawkman fight. They find that Amon hid the crown of Sabek in plain sight, which was so damn convenient. They intend to use the crown to trade with Amon and must fight side by side to save him, as they act horrible against each other on their way. Fate reveals to Hawkman his premonition about Hawkman's death, and was this the right time to bring it up? Absolutely not. They reach Ishmael, who reveals that he is the lost descendant of King Ankat, and wanting his rightful place in the throne, demanding a crown, which Adriana, willingly gives to save Amon's life. And I was trying so hard to not think about the stupid, messy plot of a movie, as it was driving me crazy. But I did like the scene where Adam was being sarcastic, and it comes and goes a couple of times, and that made me laugh for 10 seconds in a that's clever kind of way. Unfortunately, Ishmael betrays his part of the deal by shooting Amon and putting the crown on himself. As Adam tries to save Amon, he loses control again and destroys the hideout with his power, until the Justice Society protects Amon and Adriana as Ishmael dies in the process. And this movie is stupid enough as it is guilt-ridden. Adam flees to the ruins again, which I didn't get what that was about. There he reveals to Hawkman that it was actually Harut, his son, who was Kandak's champion, knowing that Harut was invincible. The king's men executed Harut's family instead, killing Isis and mortally wounding Adam in the process. And I just don't care about this movie anymore. I mean, it's not the worst, but as Wonder Woman 84, for example, Harut gave his power to Adam and to save him, but Enkat's archer managed to kill the now powerless Harut, and this narration makes no sense. Enraged, Adam slaughtered all of the king's men before he was summoned by the wizards of Shazam, who imprisoned him after deeming him unworthy, as it was a terrible feeling incapable of becoming Kandak's champion and protecting it. Adam then surrenders to the Justice Society, who take him to Waller's underwater prison with Jennifer Holland's character. I forgot her name off the top of my head. I thought, why would you do that, as this movie's title is Black Adam, so Adam has to be involved in the final battle, but they don't get him until like later on, so that didn't make much sense. Soon after, Fate continues to see the ominous premonition, which looked terrible. It is later revealed that Ishmael intentionally made Adam kill him, so that can be reborn as Sabek, which he succeeds in doing so, and arises from the underworld to Kandak to claim his throne, as this final battle doesn't make much sense. The Justice Society prepared to face Sabek in Enkat's ruins without Adam, which makes no sense for this movie's title reasons. However, Fate creates a magical force field which forbids Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher from coming into the ruins, which was super dumb, and reveals that Hawkman's death can be avoided with Fate's sacrifice, and I lost it in the theater. It was so bad. Fate then fights Sabek alone, and at the same time uses astral projection to release Adam from his suspended animation, so Adam can help them. And how much more stupid can this movie get, honestly? Adam manages to escape the prison, but Sabek kills Fate. Fate's death causes the force field to disappear, allowing Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher try to fight Sabek, who overpowers them. And how long does it take for Adam to get his ass over there? Which bothered me. Just as he is about to kill the Justice Society, Adam arrives and engages Sabek, but is slowly losing as Sabek's power can harm him, and he almost dies. Hawkman uses Fate's helmet to create magical duplicates and spells, having learned from Fate, to help Adam kill Sabek, ultimately stopping the undead. And I was glad this movie was almost over, as it made me annoyed. The Justice Society depart on good terms with Adam, who accepts his new role as protector of Kandak rather than its ruler. And the credits roll, and I'm glad they were, because this climax made no sense, as this entire movie. In a mid-credits scene, Amanda Waller communicates with the defiant Adam, warning him about forces ready to stop him before he is confronted by Superman, returned briefly by Henry Cavill. That might have been the best part of the whole movie, as Henry Cavill's cameo as Superman, but I just don't care. If there's another solo Black Adam movie, I won't look forward to it, but I knew the Superman scene was coming because thanks to some asshole on YouTube, forget my French, just releasing that footage without having me seen the movie yet. So I'm pissed about that, to be totally honest. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 3.8 out of 10. The plot was very headache-worthy, and this, as the acting and writing in this was terrible. And I don't like these characters because they're either idiots or don't have charisma. Yes, I'm looking at you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is a mess of a movie, as it was loud, and I had a headache for about half of it. And there were times the movie was absolutely predictable. I feel like DC is trying desperately to make a good movie, but fails, with an exception of the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, Joker, and Wonder Woman. And if you didn't know, I was kind of cold on Aquaman and Shazam, but everything else they produced fails miserably, just like this movie did in my opinion. So I will be back maybe next year when Shazam Fury of the Gods comes out. Oh my god, I'm not looking forward to that. And until then, we serve some justice.